Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another exciting Masterverse review, and this time in the Revelation series. That's right, the Sorceress from the Netflix series of Masters Universe Revelation. And here's how she appeared, and there is the book in on that side art. So cool, and she's looking awesome. But before we look at the rest of the box and read the bio, we're going to start it off right. We're going inside of Castle Grayskull. Deep inside the recesses of Castle Grayskull, we find some of our heroes gathered inside of the deepest recesses of Castle Grayskull to meet with the protector of the secrets of Castle Grayskull herself, none other than, that's right, the Sorceress of Castle Grayskull. And there is a look at her bio. If you would like to pause and read that now, you can. And so now, let's open up and reveal her beauty, her majesty, her honor, and her secrets as she guards this awesome establishment of Castle Grayskull. And now, let's first take a look at the Sorceress's accessories. First, looking at the Sorceress's hands, she comes with two weapon-holding hands, a left and a right, as well as some like cast spell type hands or gesturing style hands. These are very unique. We got definitely a unique look in the hands going on in this particular figure. Really cool. And then she comes with that cape with the little loops, or in this case, really it's supposed to be wings. Wish they could have done a little better job being convincing on the wings part of this. There's not really any feathery look to it, except for the part around her shoulders and back area, which is a plastic piece. And then she comes with her traditional looking staff, and it's in white, pure white here. And it's a long staff, and there it is. And it's interesting to note that you can see that the staff has the feet of the bird sitting on the ball at the top here on this end, and then the feathers of the back coming off the back end. So very accurate there, but you can see her staff. That's cool. All right, that's all of her accessories. So now let's look at our Sorceress's Articulation. And now to take a look at the Sorceress's Articulation, let's go ahead and bring her on in a little closer here. Really cool pose there. I think they could have done a better job overall of kind of designing this bottom part so that it wouldn't be so restrictive. But overall, I like it. I mean, I do wish they had done something other than just this cloth. I don't know what they could have done, or if they could have just used a better material and put in some kind of texture. Those of you who do watch my reviews and know Serpentor, you know, his cape had a texture in it, real dented in, defining texture. They could have found something that they could have dented in or defined texture that looked feathery or something, but this is just, it won't stay put. It's wanting to curl under. It just won't shape. Even wire would not have helped this. Just, I think something else needed to be done. You have see the feathers in the plastic, but then it ends here. So that's one complaint that I have. And just overall, to me, in my opinion, I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but they knocked it out of the park with the Sorceress Evelyn, the beautiful face. Why couldn't they have given the Sorceress a beautiful face? She always had a beautiful face in the Filmation cartoon, and even in the Revelation cartoon on Netflix series, it was beautiful. But this face, to me, is not the most attractive face. It almost looks like one of her left eye is almost a little crossed or something. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. I don't guess so, but I don't know. They just look like they're going inward a little bit on mine. And but she's not ugly. But you know, and I'm not trying to be shallow, but I'm just saying she's not as attractive as I was hoping that she would appear in terms of what we see in the cartoons. But I don't know. I'll just say, like some of the other Masterverse figures, something's off with the face. And I thought that they did a great job with the Evil Lyn face. And we'll look at that in comparisons. But overall, I think she looks good. I like the fact, you know, of course, in the Revelation cartoon, she did have some muscularity, some buff arms, like most of them did in the cartoon there on Netflix. And they translated that well. Just, you know, for me personally, and I think she's looking good. So let's go ahead and try to see what her articulation will do. Starting with the head here, she'll look up about that much, so you know the headdress doesn't get in the way too bad of her getting a little bit of a look up. And I'm not sure if that was because the thing bent or what, but she's going to look down a little bit, but it is restricted by these feathers coming off the face here a little bit. She's not going to get a whole lot of pivot, maybe just a little bit, and she will be able to look side to side with no problem. These bend out of the way fine. And I do like the headdress. Headdress looks really nice. I like the way they did that. Looks good. It is different from classics and even the Filmation version, but it's close enough that you know what she is. Now, while we're here, let's go ahead and check something. You can pop off her head and remove this, which now she looks like she's wearing something that you saw in Sleeping Beauty, in the Disney Sleeping Beauty. But if you take the straps off the arms, you're going to be able to remove the cape / feathers completely. I don't know why you would, but it is possible. But with that on, you're still going to be able to get a little better than 90 degrees with the arms. You're still going to be able to go full 360 if you bend it just right, and then too, unfortunately, with the bands on, they're not going to rotate as easily. But if you take the bands off, you'd be able to get it around there. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that go all the way. Really good range there. And you can slide these bands basically wherever you want to. Then as far as the diaphragm joint, you're going to be able to crunch forward about that far. You're going to be able to bend back a decent amount as well, so you'll be able to look up that way and look down more that way. And then when you bend the head, you'll be able to look down pretty good, and then also get some side to side action as well as rotation there. And then just like with the other ones, you also have a rotation under the outer overgarment here, the dress. She will turn side to side at the waist, so you do get swivel at the waist, even though there is the dress over it. You just have to kind of secure those legs. Now, moving on to the legs, you're not going to be able to get full splits because of the dress, but you're going to go far enough there. She's going to be able to kick through that dress only about that far before it just restricts. It does have thigh rotation, so she's not going to really be able to kick back much, but get a stride, which is what you're going to need there. And then you do get double jointed knees, and again, it's going to crimp that dress trying to do that, but it works. And then you're going to be able to do our boot cut there. Then you have full tiptoes, go up all the way, and then you get generous rockers with the peg hole in the bottom. So you can see that it is different with the Sorceress as far as her articulation, but it works well. And that hand has like a curve in there. You see how the palm is kind of weird, but it's designed that way so she can hold her staff perfectly and tightly. So that's cool. So when you're posing her, you're not going to see those things. But that is really neat. She's looking good. And I really like the way she looks overall. Again, the parts that I would prefer a little bit of a tweak is maybe her face, and then of course totally overhaul this stuff back here. I mean, it works, and maybe, you know, it's just because of budget cuts or budget, you know, budgeting, not wanting this figure to be so expensive, but she's just such an important figure and so cool in the cartoon, the way she looked. And I like this, even the design, it's a little different, you know, than what we've seen before, but I just feel like that it could have really been pulled off better. But every time we've complained about it. I mean, we complained about how they did it in Classics. We complained how Super 7 did the Filmation Club Grayskull one. So, I mean, you know, overall, I'm not going to say a whole lot. But they made an attempt, and we appreciate having the Sorceress. All right. Now let's do some comparisons. And first, taking a look at the Classics Sorceress next to our Revelation Sorceress, you can see that, as I was showing you earlier on the Revelation bird staff, this one has very little details, just a flat bird. It looks the same on both sides, whereas this one, as I was showing you before, actually shows the feet perched on the ball, and then on the back, the feathers in the back. So I showed you that. So definitely gave more detail to the staff. There again, you know, it's mixed reviews on the feathering. They're plastic on the Classics, and so there's this giant like tab stick thing sticking out of her shoulders with 3 layers of plastic foldable wings, so it limits the articulation and what you can do. Matter of fact, if you do that, you can see basically the workings of them attached back there, and there's no way to remove those, and they're just cumbersome. You can fold down the arms like so to have them fold up like that, and we'll take a look at them, you know, from the back when we get all of them out here. But definitely have more flexibility with this style. But there again, I don't know, there was just a very like blank look on this face. I could definitely see where they were attempting to make it look kind of Filmation accurate in a sense, but then also it's different. She had just a different look, almost too cheeky here, but definitely cool headdress. I think I prefer the headdress on this one over this one, even though both are getting the job done. So I'm torn on the face sculpts, and I'm definitely not liking either feather system. But I definitely like this outfit better. I think her legs look good. I think her feathers on the front, just her overall shape, everything looks good there. You can see where they've made some modern improvements through the articulation, pinless technology, and just overall shape. But I don't know. That's my opinion. I think it's I'm torn on these two. And then the other one that's in this same line basically with Classics, the Temple of Darkness Sorceress, basically looks the same as the other one, just all in white. And same staff, same basic gears, except those feathery wings are translucent, transparent. Same system on the back. Different headdress, just in more of a white gray color. All the same articulation, so you can see there is that comparison. And then for my favorite one, we have the Super 7 Club Grayskull Sorceress, which is definitely my favorite. She's a little bit on the short side, but I loved her head sculpt, even though it's not as attractive as the original prototype that they showed us. And you can check out my review on her. And also, I like the wing system better. Basically, there's a peg in her back, like this is the foldable wings, and you peg her arms into these pegs if you want them stationary, and then you can unpeg it to move the arms any way that you want to. And there's the color on the back, just like we saw in the Filmation cartoon. And in this one, you see that same setup on the back, except it is the spread out wings. So to pose this figure is definitely more practical than any of these. Of course, you're just not going to be able to move these around if you're doing stop motion or something. You're not going to be able to move these around or collapse them or have them in midstream. You're either folded or unfolded, whereas definitely more flexibility here. Still has the pins in this one. I really like the body shape on this one. This looks like Filmation. Love those hands, those gesturing, spell casting hands, which I guess that's kind of where they were getting these from, but I think they did a better job with the Super 7 hands. But man, just look at that. That is so cool. So let's look at all of them from the front. And here they all are there on the front. And here they are from the back. And you can see the Club Grayskull one with the folded wing attachment instead of the spread out wing attachment, just to show you that. But you see how they look from the back. Alright, now let's do some other comparisons with some other action figures. And then here is our Sorceress next to Revelation Evelyn. How she looked in the first part, and that is cool looking there. Evelyn was definitely buff and beautiful and designed well. She also had the ability to go without the helmet. And if you have a second Evelyn, you can peel that helmet off the first head, the helmeted head, and of course use the included long-haired version and have her holding her empty helmet. And there she is trying to capture the power of the orb itself. The Sorceress is going to stop her. Of course, they team up and work together in part 1 of the Revelation series and the first part of the second part too, I believe. But anyway, there you have that comparison. So cool, looking good, looking excellent. Now here is my favorite Evelyn that they've done. I just feel like they did a great job with her. She's beautiful. They just well designed. Looks like the series on Netflix, but also just poses beautifully from every angle. Whereas this one, this Sorceress, you know, because of the way that dress is done, certain angles are better than others. But overall, they both look great, and I'm happy to have her a part of my collection. Thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review. It has been a blast looking at the Revelation Sorceress with you. Please like if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe if you've not done so, and also comment if you have something to share or say. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time in another Super Dave review. We'll be looking at Shadow Weaver soon, and please come back and see us. Here's some photos in the photo gallery. Be blessed.